F124 Driver Career Mode Season 2, Round number 7, the British Grand Prix. We are back at Silverstone once again for the British Grand Prix. Last time we didn't have the best race here. We had quite a lot of issues with ERS and also with fuel from what I remember. So, you know, it was a bit of a struggle as we go into this one putting on a durability upgrade that will come through hopefully for the next race. But yeah, we didn't have the greatest time here last time, but we'll see how we do here in Season 2. Looking at R&D, and we've actually jumped just ahead of Aston Martin going into this weekend. McLaren now just about the quickest car on paper, with Aston Martin behind, then Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes. Haas also have a little bit of an improvement, so do RB. Down the bottom of the field, they go ahead of Sauber now with a pretty decent upgrade. So yeah, a few upgrades for a few teams, but not a whole lot going on at this point in time. Here we go into Q1, just trying to get a better lap in here. My first lap, good enough for P11, but I figured that probably wasn't going to be good enough to get me through to Q2, because, you know, there's a lot of other people. I mean, we had Albon, Magnussen now ahead of us as well, so already we're pushed down to P12, so I figured, you know, at least to be safe, we might have been alright, but at least to be safe, better had to go for another run. I think I used the same set of tyres again because the tyre wear actually wasn't that crazy. In the end, we ended up P7, Perez up there in P2, so he had a better lap time than us. Definitely wasn't quite dialed in yet, so, you know, definitely more lap time to be made here. And despite, you know, like I said, not having a great time in the race last season, we did have a very good qualifying. We qualified second, so it was a good quali for us, just didn't have the pace in the race, and with those ERS issues and with some fuel issues as well, I'm a little worried that we're going to have those same problems here today. Now we get into Q2, very quick through Sector 2 there. We went past an Aston Martin on this lap, just down into Copse. Thankfully got out of our way in good time, so that shouldn't have really affected us at all. And I believe this is the one and only lap of Q2. Didn't have to do another lap here because I felt safe enough with the lap I did. Around the final couple of corners, I really struggled with that final corner, you know, coming around here. You have to be very careful on the power. End up P6 this time, a little bit of an improvement. Just over a tenth off Perez though in P4. He's putting in some good times here, and home hero Lewis Hamilton will be happy that he finally gets out of Q2 here in Silverstone. Both Mercedes in Q3. There's not really any shock result into, you know, shock driver getting knocked out in Q2, so it is the 5 teams that you would expect, the 10 drivers you would expect getting to Q3 here. And as we are now in the Q3 lap, currently sitting P10, and I did actually do a lap. I think it was on a used set again. I can't quite remember. I might have actually had 2 new sets, or actually 3 new sets to use in this session, because I believe I wanted to keep a session for the race because the tyre wear seemed quite low. I thought there is a chance that maybe we could be using a soft compound in the race. It might come in handy, so that's, you know, I decided to make sure we had a brand new set of softs ready to go for the race in case we needed them. But yeah, on the first lap, I believe it was on a brand new set of tyres, but yeah, we are P10 after the first lap. So wanting to make improvements here, and as you can see from the delta at the top right there, we're 3 tenths up on our previous best time, so we are definitely up, and it was very close. It was less than like 4 tenths between first and 10th, so it was really close throughout the whole field here, and we've had a pretty good final lap here. Very quick around that next corner into the hairpin, the chicane, not the hairpin. A little bit of a wiggle out of the corner, but we get on the power as quickly as we can, and we cross the line just over 3 tenths up on our best time. We end up ahead of Perez. We end up P5 in the end. It is Leclerc on pole once again, with Alonso in second and Sainz in third, showing that Ferrari has still got very good pace. Russell with a very impressive P4, and we're there in P5 with Oscar Piastri P6. He's currently leading the championship from Leclerc, and I'm of course third as well. So that is the grid, the 2 Red Bulls, 9th and 10th. Let's see what is in store for this British Grand Prix here at Silverstone.
Welcome to not only the home of British motorsport, but also the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, a classic on the calendar, and it's time for the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, and Fernando Alonso completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Shaw, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Verstappen, Norris, Albon, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Ocon, Gasly, Stroll, Bottas, Zhou, Sargent, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
It's time to get going here at Silverstone for this British Grand Prix. Lights are out and away we go for this race. It is a decent start for us. We managed to get off the line just as well as the cars ahead of us. Russell, the car ahead, maybe looking at a move actually in through that corner, but there's yellow flags behind us and there's a VSC instantly. That is the quickest incident I have ever seen. Lewis Hamilton, despite having a good quali session, is out of the British Grand Prix. What has gone on? We're going to have to see what happened here, because there was obviously an incident straight away. Hamilton, you can see there, actually gets a great start from where he was and is already gone for a move into turn 1, but then it's 5 wide and there's a big collision, 5 cars wide into that corner. I believe Hamilton, despite having a good quali, actually had a grid penalty, so was further down the order. And yeah, it is 5 wide into turn 1, and Hamilton is the one who loses out with that one. We have a look at the position from Albon here, who's alongside Hamilton, just gets massively clambered in between Hamilton and Gasly. And now we're going to have a look at it from Esteban Ocon, who was behind this. You can see up ahead, look at that, 5 wide, and they're still 5 wide as they head into the corner. That is ridiculous. I've never seen 5 wide. I've seen 4 wide a couple of times. I have never seen 5 wide at any point in the F1 games. We haven't had like a safety car or anything, and we only had a VSC here, but we haven't had any sort of real disruption for quite a while on this game. And then we get that on lap 1, turn 1. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, by the end of the lap, we're ready to get going again, and by lap number 3, DRS is online, and Piastri is looking very quick behind us, and he's diving up the inside. He's already made a few positions in this race, and he's now up into P5, so we're now down to P6 in this race. Leclerc leading the way, however, Alonso is going to get past him, or going to try and get past him here on lap number 3, and he does. That is now Fernando Alonso up into P1. It's kind of a top 4 that have broken away a little bit here of Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz and Russell hanging on in that Aston Martin, doing a very good job. Leclerc, though, next lap around, comes straight back at Alonso into the same corner that Alonso got past him the lap previously, and that puts Charles Leclerc back up into the lead of this race. He is very much fighting for this championship. He is currently, I believe, 2nd in the championship, just behind Piastri. He's got a couple of race wins to his name already this season. He is right there fighting for it. We now, once again, are going to have a look back at Piastri up the inside into the braking zone, and we get back past him again, just sticking behind him within the DRS zone, staying within a second, and we can then go for that move. Perez then is actually going to potentially have a little look at Piastri here as well, as Piastri's defending from my teammate. My teammate might help me out here by fighting against him, because yeah, we are feeling the pressure from Piastri, but Perez making a move. They're still side by side though round these final couple of corners. Great racing from these two drivers, but Perez gets up ahead of Piastri, an upper position, and now he's going to be the car hounding me, my own teammate, who we haven't had a lot of pressure from Perez this season, but he goes up the inside into this next left-hander and now into the right-hander. He's still there on the outside. I'm trying to keep the position on the inside. Got to race fair though, especially with my teammate, but he ends up going around the outside and getting ahead of us. But I'm just going to have to hang behind him for now, because I know I'm actually quite quick through these next few corners. Through here I can go flat, whereas the AI seem to drift out a bit. go quite slow. And through here, I also can carry more speed into this corner, more speed into this corner. It's then out of this corner though that I struggle with, although I think I've gotten a little bit better at it compared to last season. I really struggled there last season and in previous games. I've gotten a little bit better at it now, and sure enough, into the next braking zone, we get back ahead of our teammate Sergio Perez, and on the same lap he got past us, we are now back up into P5. At the front, and these guys have been swapping positions a little bit. Once again, it's Alonso going back up the inside of Leclerc. I wasn't going to show you every single move because it was pretty much every lap for like 10 laps, just back and forth between the two of them. This time though, Alonso doesn't manage to quite finish the move off, and Leclerc stays in the lead. As you can see though, Sainz and Russell are really staying with these guys, and although they're pulling away from me and the group behind a little bit, it is helping us out at least stay somewhat close to that top 4. Russell though is doing a great job staying there in 4th position. Now Perez coming back at us again, the same position, the same place that he did last time. We're a little bit further ahead of him though this time, and can defend the position quite a bit better, and this time we are going to stay ahead of our teammate, but he is putting on quite a lot of pressure, and that's using up a lot of our battery. Still, the battle at the front continues. Alonso this time going to try and go around the outside of Leclerc for the race lead. Leclerc really getting close to him round that corner, but this time Alonso makes the move stick and he's back up into the lead of this race. This is a great battle for the lead here between these 4 drivers, although Sainz and Russell are just kind of there. They're not really, putting any moves on. As then Perez gets back past us again. Just really struggling here with the ERS. I don't think I'm struggling quite as much as I was in previous season, but it is definitely a struggle when you don't have DRS off the car in front and you're defending from a car. It is really difficult to stay ahead and keep the battery going. We, of course, then come in for our pit stop onto the medium tyres. By the way, I didn't even mention, but we did start on the soft compound tyres, so I'm glad that I kept a brand new set because everybody started on the soft compound, so that was the tyre compound to be on. I figured it might be, being that the tyre wear seemed relatively low in qualifying, but we're onto a set of mediums now. The first driver to come in other than Albon, who came in right at the start after that contact with Hamilton. He had a bit of damage, so came in then for the medium compound. But we're the first of these main front runners to do it. But as we then go into the next corner, it's 3 wide. My teammate Perez on the inside, Verstappen on the outside in the Red Bull, managed to have a good pit stop and get out just behind us, and now has actually gotten past us. So we've lost some positions here in the pit stop, despite actually having a good pit stop this time. We didn't have a pit stop issue or anything, but unfortunately we have lost a position here to Verstappen. But we're going to try and get back at him up the inside into that corner. He doesn't quite make it work. We're going to try and go to the inside into the chicane. Piastri behind, he's still behind us, is having a look as well as we still try and get past Verstappen. We really do not want to get stuck behind him here because mainly I don't want Piastri getting past, but Verstappen, I just want to be ahead of him. I want to stay there with Perez because I think we can definitely beat Perez. As once again, this time, I have the outside line into here, but then Perez spins his car around. What has he done? That is awful news for our teammate. He goes for a spin around that corner. We'll take a look at it from some other angles here. First of all, this is just the replay camera. We see him spin ahead of us. We just about get past Verstappen and managed to probably a little bit cheekily go flying past there. We maybe should have slowed down a little bit more. But here we see from Checo's point of view, he just completely just puts his foot down, spins the car round. It's not a 360, but the damage is done. Here's the view from Verstappen, who rides up on the curb a little bit, then is more caught out by Perez in front than I am. So we managed to get past Verstappen, and that actually puts a bit of a gap between us, which now Piastri is going to take full advantage of as he now goes side by side with Verstappen. Norris is just behind there as well in the other Red Bull, and Tsunoda doing a very good job in the RB, currently still in this train of drivers. But this time Piastri gets ahead of Verstappen and is now up into P6. So he's going to be looking to work his way further through the grid if he can. The fight at the front still continues. Sainz has actually lost the position to Russell now. And although it is still Alonso, Leclerc and Russell, the top 3, Sainz is now detached from that group as Alonso manages to get himself back into P1 once again. But once again, Russell staying there now in the top 3, doing a great job. I don't know if Mercedes have even had a podium so far this season, so that would be a big result for him. Stroll now seems to be having some trouble in the other RB. He's currently P11, just outside of the points, but Sargent there in the Williams manages to get past him. And now that is Kevin Magnussen in the Haas also getting past. A little bit surprised that Haas haven't scored any points yet. They are actually the 6th quickest team on paper, but are yet to score a point. So they're really looking to get somewhere in these next few races. But looking like unless there's an issue for a car up ahead, they won't be scoring points today. As lap 19, Piastri gets past me, so he caught up to the back of me. Now though, we are back on him again, and the battle between me and Piastri continues from earlier on. We're up the inside this time on lap number 20 to get back up into P5. P5's gonna really be the best position we can do here. Sainz is too far up ahead, and although we catch him at points, he then gets back away from us at other points. Lap 21 and we're ahead, but not for long. Piastri now this time round the outside. We try and stick it here on the inside, but just don't quite have the room. I mean, he fully goes off the track there. We try and cut back into the inside, but then he defends the line very well and stays ahead. So we're going to have to, at the moment, settle for P6, but the battle at the front continues onto the final lap of this race as Leclerc goes from P2 to P1. He really did some good strategy there, was in P2 when they got to that final DRS zone, and that's put him into the lead of this race, and it is going to be another win for Charles Leclerc at Ferrari in this season where he could be the champion here. He wins from Alonso in second and Russell a very respectable P3 on the podium there. Like I said, that may be maybe Mercedes' first podium of the season. Don't quote me on that, but it's definitely a good result. For us, I actually purposely stuck behind Piastri for a few laps here because I didn't want what happened last time out in, well, it was in Canada, wasn't it, where he got ahead of us on the final lap. This time we get past him on the final lap, back up into P5. Piastri may have the fastest lap, but as Leclerc crosses the line there, we're going to come home for P5. We qualified P5. We're going to finish P5. Not the best result in the world, but we beat Piastri, which he is, of course, one of our rivals in this championship. Leclerc's going to score big points here, though, winning this race, though. And he is also, of course, a championship rival for us. And we are a little bit further back from those two guys. But P5 is not the worst result in the world.
And Leclerc to the line, to the checkered flag. It's King Charles today. He wins.
A great display of dominance today, Crofty, by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So it's another great race from Leclerc, another win. I think that might be win number 3 potentially this season. It's either 2 or 3 anyway, at least with Grand Prix wins. And he stops Oscar Piastri's run of 3 race wins in a row. So Piastri won the last 3 races. Finally, Leclerc breaks that up with a P1. It's actually Piastri's teammate Alonso who comes home second, and yeah, George Russell P3. What a result in that Mercedes that does not look very good at the moment. It is a fair way back from the rest of the grid. He's doing a pretty good job there in P3 when his teammate got knocked out at turn 1, pretty much before turn 1. Like I said, we come home P5. It's a decent result for us, 10 points in the bag, 1 point more than Oscar Piastri because he gets the fastest lap point, and Perez managed to recover to P10, but it's Yuki Tsunoda in the RB who comes home P9, splitting, well actually I was going to say splitting the Red Bulls, but Perez isn't in a Red Bull anymore, is he? Just behind the 2 Red Bulls of Verstappen and Norris, so good result from Yuki to pick up another 2 points for him and the team. And the championship shuffles around a little bit again at the front as Leclerc regains the lead of the championship, now 11 points ahead of Piastri. We are 42 points behind Leclerc, so we're a bit further back now. We're actually joint third with Alonso, but we are ahead thanks to our 2 race wins to Alonso's. I don't think Alonso's won a race this season, has he? So that is why that is. And in the constructors, Aston Martin out there in front, Ferrari just a bit further behind, a bit more of a gap back to McLaren though. We are a little bit further back now. However, now Mercedes have actually jumped ahead of Red Bull by 3 points. So it is all still to play for in this championship. And also RB getting another 2 points, sorry, to get 3 points or 2 points. I don't know. They're in 7th. They're now joint 4th, 4 points with Williams, joint 6th, should I say. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.